You can tell I'm already in the doghouse anyway.
Oh, back to the crap load. Breakfast was stuck this morning, huh?
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to SMSN. It's a wonderful Friday. And it's always a wonderful day, period, when we talk about wives cooking, like Kevin Cunningham's wife, Luann, a wonderful, wonderful lady. And we're not going to talk politics today or anything that goes on in the town of Plainfield. We're going to talk to Kevin about Luann and her wife's cooking.
Liver and onion.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you like liver and onions because I
Oh,
sure
no.
don't.
No.
Yeah, not my favorite either.
Not my favorite.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, welcome in, Kevin. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
No, it's always good to see you. I'm sorry that we couldn't live up to your parking spot again.
Yeah. Or donuts. Or
Donuts. Not anything here.
and the contract still hasn't been signed yet.
There's a half roll of tape if you like that.
Wow. So generous.
Somebody left some
I don't even know where that came from.
money on the
Leave it
table.
there.
Yeah.
If somebody left $4.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, it's budget season.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always a blast. I know it's always fun in Griswold. It's fun in every town. But of course, our neighbors to the north, Plainfield, are probably having just as much fun. So
Yeah.
how is budget season coming along?
This year is a little different. Last year was the rebalance. And while your mill rate dropped, the cost of taxes went up because of the rise in the price of your house, or in this case, we're still feeling the effects.
Okay.
So we have to put together a budget, which I think is appropriate for residents on the town side. We did put up a budget, and the Board of Finance asked us to make some cuts prior to going to the public hearing, which was on May 6th. And then after the public hearing, they asked us to cut some more money. So if we compare our budget for the town side of the budget compared to last year, we're $9,000 more than last year.
Okay. So
Don't spend it all in one place.
Well, you've got your contracted increases. You have different things you'd like to be able to do and perform. And plus, we're looking to get a full-time engineer in the town of Plainfield because it would save us tons of money instead of having to go out to do engineering for different projects.
Oh.
So that's the plan for this year. So we had some actually to think about it. We actually cut a lot of different things, and we're still able to come forward with what we believe to be a very reasonable budget and to be voted on Monday, the 20th. So we're just right around the corner now, as it's Friday. We're voting on it on Monday, and
they don't have much time to think about it.
Nope. So there's access to it in the town hall. There's access to it online. You can see the budget presentation on video as well through our great partners through Plainfield Connecticut Watchdog Media. You can go on to different sites there, or you can go right to YouTube and watch it. So you can see the presentations by all the town boards and committees. You can see the presentation by the police. You can see the presentation by the Board of Education. It's something that we're looking to promote because a quarter of a mill increase nowadays is not bad. You're never going to be able to please everybody. I absolutely understand that. There are people that are having difficult times and they're on fixed incomes or whatever may be going on in their life. So I think a quarter of a mill increase is reasonable. It's something that should pass, and I'm hoping that people realize that. If they have any questions between now and Monday, even on Monday, if they want to give a call, they can definitely do that. But we put forth something that we think is decent. I know other towns are looking at some pretty large increases. What do you have? 1.6 increase here for mill rate?
I think it's 1.6.
Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
I know Cunningham went yesterday and they failed on both sides. That was a roughly 5.7 mill increase.
Wow. What are they doing up there?
Well, I think they've gone through the same issues with revals. But I don't know what the effect was, but definitely they both failed.
Yeah.
So,
I understand why.
Is that the town and the government in the education budget?
It's two separate.
Yeah.
That's a financial.
Yeah.
But you guys had a little increase in your grant list, too.
Yeah, we did. And we're helping to offset some of those taxes by way of some of the revenue lines coming in. We anticipate that we'll have the first week in July a building permit issued for U-Line so they can put the foundation in. And that will be something we can look forward to for an increase from just for the building permits alone of over $800,000 just for them. So that's helping us offset the revenue lines and helps the budget.
What is Uline actually going to? Can you say anything about it?
Sure.
No, okay.
Yeah, Uline has been approved through all the different agencies in the town. Planning and zoning being last. They've gone through wetlands. They've located where they'll be putting the sewer line. They want to be working with Eversource to put a gas line in. And the anticipation is that they'll be on the, so let's see, the May 22nd, which is that Wednesday. There'll be an informational meeting coming up for the residents who are, well, any resident can go, but basically for those residents who are abutters, so they can help them understand they'll be doing blasting and what the impact is of blasting. They're offering to have this informational meeting to also say that if you are, let's say you live up in the up in that area and you want to say, look, I'm concerned about my well, I'm concerned about my foundation. They will go and take pictures prior to blasting, so that way, in case anything happens, they have record of it, and they're offering that service. So that way, they're trying to be very proactive and be helpful. If there's an issue with the blasting that causes damage, then they will be, responsible for fixing it up.
Yeah.
So that's the meeting is going to be Wednesday the 20th, 7 o'clock at the town hall. That's a public informational meeting for that.
It's going to be in the warehouses.
If you've gotten a book, I should have brought a book for you.
It's a very thick magazine.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Where they sell, I mean.
Pretty much everything for warehousing, for office areas,
Shipping supplies.
Safety.
Shipping supply company
Okay, all right.
in the world.
They have 2 facilities up in Canada, 2 down in Mexico, and up to now, there's 9 in the U.S. Will be number 10. Will service in our area. They will be able to service the entire New England area.
And how many people do they expect to employ in that facility?
Between 400 to 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get these people?
You already applied, didn't you?
Yeah, I would have been denied.
Yeah. Well, I can understand why.
No skill set.
Yeah. No. What they do is
pick up box, we put box down.
very good.
Yeah.
But it reminds me, Serge called the other day.
Oh, how is he doing?
He's been kind of quiet.
Yeah. Right.
Medication. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Confused?
Yeah. We
If you know, you know.
Yeah. The issue with Uline compared to other facilities. Let's say you're going to go to work for a Lowe's in a warehouse.
Yeah.
Jobs go 17, 19 an hour to start. They have decent benefits. Uline is you put your application in, you go for a 3-hour test. It has a lot of math in it.
Really?
If you pass that, then they're going to do the background check, drug and alcohol. Then if you pass that, you go through a psych eval.
Wow.
And now,
I'm done.
so you think about that, they don't do that at any other place. Their retention rate at the other sites are, 30, 35% retention rate. Here's 92.
Wow.
So they know they got you for a good partner with them for life.
Wow.
So that's why and they pay $31 an hour. They pay excellent benefits. They work 2 shifts. They don't do Saturdays. If it's a Sunday shift that they work, it's a half shift, and they just prep for a busy week. Usually in all of their sites, they have a cafeteria, they have a gym area. They try to promote safety as much as possible with their employees. And I think at every end of every year so far that I've heard of, they've given a bonus to their employees.
Wow.
So very good company to work for, very family oriented, very, very positive for us.
Wow.
So we think they'll be all done up and running within a 2-year period, because we're having one of our contracted certified building inspectors will be going to the site almost daily, and it helps them because they can save a lot of money if they have the punch list verified and all done, and they can put that building in quicker. So it's going to save them a lot of money.
Gotcha.
That's the big key for them coming into town.
So one of the things that I kind of thought about, is this going to hurt the other facilities in town?
Yeah.
Because if they're offering all of these benefits and this wonderful pay structure,
Mhm.
That's either going to people are going to leave other places,
Okay.
or B, the other places are going to
Have to
ramp
modify.
up their game.
Okay, so let's just
I'm sure that's come up somewhere.
yeah, it has. But think about what I just said about how you get hired.
Okay, you go through all these testing.
Okay,
Yeah.
the intake is going to be minimal because you didn't pass one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not just like, oh yeah, I automatically get a job. Nope.
Right.
So I think that what they're going to do is make it so that they're really and they do that everywhere. They narrow down the employee to what they really want. So you're not going to be losing a lot from the other facilities. B, yes, you're right. I think it would cause other companies to say we need to do a little different for the hiring. Yeah.
I know you got a list of stuff.
Yeah.
While we're on the warehouse, the Amazon thing.
Yeah.
That's still empty, right?
Right now it's empty. I had a conversation with Eversource about a week and a half ago, talking about Amazon. I'm sorry, talking about the Amazon site, and what they're waiting for is their engineers to figure out how they're going to get more power over there.
Really?
For anybody that's driven on that lot or seen it in the back along the tree line area, they have the plastic pipes coming up that are capped. Well, those are all wires ready to go for charging stations.
Oh.
And they don't have enough power going over there. So the engineers have to figure out how they're going to get the power going over to that site. And they're just about ready to do that. So they've been working with Eversource has been working with Amazon on how they would be able to bring that in. Once that occurs, we'll see. Hopefully, next couple of weeks that we put in the papers in so we can get the charging stations up and running, and then we'll see the rest of it coming in.
Because then they'll be competing against this new one.
Mm-hmm.
If they wait 2 years, they'll be competing against the new employee.
Yeah, but it's all a little different too. Amazon's model is also, this is an end mile distribution site. This is where all the vans go out. You're going to have about 150 of those vans going out in the daytime. So that's the bulk of your staffing. You have some people doing the sorting, prepping the vans ready to go. So yeah, it's not as same type of work.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So that's why you got the charging stations, because they're probably using electric.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That was the model for Amazon. They're looking to go green.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, and maybe this is not even really a Plainfield question, but as far as Amazon and their electric vehicles, are they also going to take up shop in other towns for charging stations?
No, I don't think they'll have to. You get 200 going in.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, depending on how far these vehicles have to go.
They're local. They're not going to go that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. Yeah. So, what got cut in the budget? Before we do that, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a second. Do you want to mention that SNS is going to be doing all 4 games from the Dodge Stadium, the Norwich Sea Unicorns? We are very, very excited about this. We have 2 huge sponsors that are going to be jumping in on this, and one of them is the Burns Agency, who is, you can see on our screen right now, Jay Burns and his team. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that if there was no Burns Agency with us, there would be no SNS. To be honest with you, they have supported us since day one. And also, thank you very much to not really new. They've done stuff with us before, but now a major sponsor with us for not just Dodge Stadium, but everything else is Strain Family Motors here. Well, actually in Lisbon, say in town. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll talk more with Kevin Cunningham in just a minute as we're going to find out what got cut out of the budget right here on SNSN.
You buy better at Burns.
You buy better at Burns. You buy better.
New year, same problem. These insurance prices always seem to be on the rise. Is it simply the company you're with, or is there more you can be doing to manage your insurance cost? Call the Burns Agency today and let our qualified staff walk you through coverage options, eligible discounts, and other cost savings. You can reach us at burnsagency.com, by phone, or better yet, stop by our convenient locations in Norwich and Dayville. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Tire in Plainfield is the place to get quality new and used tires and good old-fashioned customer service. Did you know that if you happen to have a leak in one of your tires, drive into Isaiah's Tire on Route 12 in Plainfield. They'll check it out, plug it if it's needed, and won't even charge you. Why? The folks at Isaiah's Tire want you to experience service like it used to be and to remember them when it's time to get a great set of tires at an unbeatable price. Isaiah's Tire, formerly Empire Tire, now located just up the street in Plainfield on Route 12. Find them on Facebook. That's
dentist? In a word, yes, especially if that dentist is Dr. Katzoff and the staff at Griswold Dental Associates. They follow all the latest safety protocols while doing what they do best, taking care of you. From preventive to restorative, your dental care couldn't be in better hands. To schedule your appointment, call Griswold Dental Associates today, 860-376-2626. That's 860-376-2626.
City Savings Bank's commitment to helping local businesses fuel growth was recognized by the Small Business Administration and readers of the Commercial Record. We invite you to put our winning commercial lending team to work for your business. Because when local businesses succeed, we all win. To learn more, visit jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
And welcome back, everybody. As you see, we are joined by Plainfield First Selectman Kevin Cunningham, giving us an update on not just budget season and the referendum that's coming up and all this good stuff, but also what's going on in town as far as business, just all things Plainfield, which is always good to have Kevin in. I'll say that too, in front of him, but behind his back, it's totally different. Very happy.
I hear it.
Just a side note as well. If you are commenting in the chat, feel free to leave comments and questions if you like. However, this show is being pre-recorded, so if you don't get an answer, which you probably won't in the chat right now, it's because this show has been pre-recorded. That doesn't mean that your questions won't be forwarded to Mr. Cunningham to reach out to you at another time. So,
Yeah, I'm always available if anybody wants to ask a question.
so just so you know, we are recording this in advance, but that doesn't mean don't comment and don't ask questions. It's just you won't get an answer right now.
Same at home. I ask a question and don't get an answer for a few days.
They can email you too.
Yes.
Right. What's your email address?
It's K Cunningham Selectman at plainfieldct.org.
All right. K Cunningham Selectman at plainfieldct.org.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. And if you didn't get that, folks, rewind it. It'll be there. All right, let's get back to more stuff with Plainfield. You want to talk about Interoil? What's going on there?
So a quick answer, you before the break, what was cut? Minor things we moved to different departments. So it was no impact to employment or cutting programs of any type. So, but Interoil. So I'll go through a list of all the Plainfield updates. Interoil, we've been working with a developer to submit a June 25th SIF grant application. The SIF grant is a community investment fund through the state of Connecticut. It's for larger dollars for different projects throughout the state. We know that in speaking with the state of Connecticut, they love us to put an application in because I think they're looking to actually say yay to the thought and concept. They knew it was coming.
Yes.
We didn't put the paperwork in the last round only because we were not quite ready. And they said, doesn't matter, just put it in. We want to see it. So that's a great thing to hear from the state of Connecticut. Hey, we want to see your stuff because we're interested. Sure. So that's Interoil, a large developer looking to put some information into the state of Connecticut. Is going to be very helpful. They're putting plans together, putting conceptual drawings, ideas on how this can be funded and what the cleanup is going to cost, things like that. We have been working on an issue on Dow Road. There's a bridge up there that is in need of repair. And we've been working for 3 years to put a plan together, which we believe was engineered properly, got all of our permits, got all of our easements for the properties, worked with Eversource, so they have to cut down trees and move some telephone poles. And we were ready to start it until the Army Corps of Engineers says, we have a better plan. So now we have to wait till next year. Now, on top of that, that like everything else, costs go up, labor goes up, materials go up. So I asked the question is, who's going to pay for that? We've already gone as a town to ask for an additional $350,000 for the project because of delays. Sure. I don't think it's fair to go back to the townspeople again for ask for more.
No.
We may have to, but I'll just say my case. I don't think it's fair that the Army Corps can just jump in at the last minute after waiting 3 years and say, hold up. So you can tell I'm frustrated with that one.
Wow.
Oregon Road has up by Shepherd Hill. There's a sidewalk project. Phase 2 is now going to be started at the end of the school year. Continuing where it left off, going down to Route 12 and up in front of the gas station is about where the funding can go to for that continuation of the sidewalk. Phase 3, which we're applying for, will be going down 205 for a safe walk up the hill to go to the state of Connecticut. Told us last week that they'll be doing a push button crosswalk there, which goes over to the dollar store. So that's helpful. Anything else that we built over there as well. So that project will start. Let's see. I had a few resignations from the recreation department. Mark is decided to move on. He's going to Preston. So we're looking for a individual to be a new recreation director and all the implications of that. So
Ryan Open is not available.
No, he's not. Ryan, you know my email address.
We'll give you $4 more.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, $4.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
Yep. So we're working on getting a replacement immediately. Programs are not going to be affected. We'll be able to work on that. We have a staffing which will take care of all continuations. We just talked about the town budget, a $250,000 increase. Referendums on the 20th. Information is available to town online or at the town clerk's office. Lions Park. Lions Park, I'm kind of like working to discuss how we do an additional revenue without having to go out for another grant. You go out for a steep grant. Most of the time, steep grants are matching grants. Town comes up with a match of whatever that you're looking for the steep. Okay, so I'm trying to bypass that issue by doing the following. We have been approached by a company to buy their cell tower at the town highway garage. They want to offer us $660,000. We lose the annual revenue from that of $32,000, but we gain the $660,000, which I'd like to apply to the Lions Park. Then there was another issue where back in January of 2008, the town sold the building we had 2 doctors' offices, so it's that facility off of Plainfield Road. We didn't earmark the money for anything, so it's been sitting in an account, restricted account, sitting there. It was sold for $389. It's now got $551. I'd like to use that money to go with this $660 and be able to finish the entire Lions Park without having to take any more tax dollars out of the fund balance.
What do you want to do with Lions Park? What is it?
Okay, so you know there's a new playground right there. We anticipate that we'd like to put a 2-bathroom small pavilion outside. We'd like to be able to put up, move the basketball courts back, put 2 basketball courts, a specific exercise area, one single volleyball court, a pavilion in the middle towards the back, and in the back corner to put a raised stage, to put lights and camera on around the track, and a splash pad in the front corner.
Oh, I have one thing. Pickleball.
Pickleball, okay.
That's really huge.
Right now, tennis is not, and I hate that because I'm used to playing it.
Yeah, me too. Actually, high school.
Yep, I was in college.
The letter in tennis.
Yep. So, what we'd like to do is ask the Board of Education with the 3 tennis courts they have up on the hill, see if we can take them over and make them into pickleball courts.
Do they have a tennis team now?
No. So it's basically.
What is it then?
Since it was built in 2005.
There you go.
Okay. So June 5th, we're looking for.
Get some usage out of that real estate.
Yeah. So on June 5th, what I'd like to do is we'll be posting a legal notice for a June 5th town meeting, which will have the following items on it. Ordinances, we need to clean up the typos in the ordinances. Number 2, we need to expire or delete some ordinances. Like, I shouldn't use that word, but basically grandfather, they're done. I'll give you an example. Ordinance number 4, there's no drinking on Sunday, no sales of alcohol on Sunday. Wow. Okay, so some of these things are outdated, so we're looking to get the information to the public and they can vote on those 2 items. Third item, voting for the sale of the cell tower, because in our charter, there's any sale or lease of. So that's the sale of the cell tower with the idea that money goes towards the Lions Park. The lease of the proposed billboard. Have you been up in Killingly, the Attawagan exit area? There's a electronic billboard up there.
I've been up there.
Same company has approached us, wants to put a billboard in the shape of a V. That way you can see it north and south.
Oh.
And they will be giving us $65,000 a year for the first 5 years, goes up in the 70s, mid 70s for the second 5 years, and it escalates every 5 years. So it more than replaces the cell tower revenue loss by double.
Wow.
So they want to do that, and the day that they turn on the switch as it opens up, we get another additional check for 50 grand. So that's the plan right now. Is it okay to do a lease of a billboard? And we also need to do one more, which is the police evidence shed. They don't have anything in this year's budget for evidence shed for monies.
There we go. They're looking for that shed.
Yep. So we're looking to vote at the town meeting, this town meeting, to say it's okay to go to referendum, let the voters vote on utilizing $54,000 in a line item transfer. That sounds kind of weird, but the bottom line is it wasn't in the budget to do anything more with the shed. So that's why it has to be voted on by the public, because it's over 50 grand through a referendum. So that's on June 5th. So let's see what else we got. June 1st, we're trying to do another Project 10 food and monetary donation at the town hall like we have done in the past. This will be the 5th annual one. So we really need your support from 10 to noon. Proposed Plainfield Pavilion, we got the steep grant for that. We had used a match of how much it cost us to tear it down would be our match, and it was over 500,000. So we were able to use 500,000 as our match to the steep grant. We got approval for it. We're going out to bid for the engineering for portion of it. That project, 140 by 62 bathrooms. The school gave us the land behind it, the softball field behind it. Across the street will be the parking lot redo. It'll be properly engineered for water drainage. It'll be expanded. They have lights, camera, push button crosswalk. 88 appliances all over the place, making sure we're safe. That way we can have other events over there. So that one is being worked on right now. One is kind of fun, a really fun one, and that shows you the community of Plainfield. It's the Moosup Rotary Park. So it was about, a year and a half ago, maybe two almost, where I was going to the Mission Moosup, which I'm part of, the Mission Moosup group, and they were talking about they'd like to have more things to do in downtown. Obviously, clean up the area. Yep. In the downtown Moosup area, clean up the area, have events. There's a grassy area between Cumberland Farms and across the street is Walgreens. So I said, well, why don't we try to look to get a park over there, and I'll help to start the process. So yes, the town bought nice, heavy-duty, sturdy benches. We bought, in cooperation with, here we go, the Plainfield Business Association split the cost for the pavilion with the town.
Wow.
We then went on to, everybody wanted to get involved at that point. The Rotary Club said, can we help and support that financially and physically and call it the Rotary Park? Sure. Then you have Mission Moosup, you have Plainfield Business Association, of course, the town of Plainfield. You've got Rotary, Plainfield Beautification Group, so they're doing plantings over there. And we had the high school come in and paint them, donated by Ernie Colello. So he has some bollards painted by the high school. Ernie's done a lot of work over there. We have Joe from Winco, who's also helped and donated time and services. So this is a real community event. All these groups are getting together and wanting to make it happen so that there can be things down there. We're also going to expand the road that is Railroad Ave right there. So the parking is a diagonal parking. We're going to expand that parking a little further so that way you can actually park two diagonals. And on those two diagonals, you still should be able to get a fire truck through that area. We're going to repave it. We're going to fix the sidewalk over there. There will be a huge mural on that wall. Welcome to Moosup. Mm-hmm. And it'll be it's a special thing by the Mission Moosup. Beth, her husband is a how do I say this? Graphic design. Beth Anderson. Okay. So she's Mission Moosup. Okay. So she's looking forward to this project very much. It helps do a lot more down there, and the town's very happy to help out. So those things are happening. We're putting lights and camera over there as well. Any project I say that we're doing, it'll be lights and cameras. And then we have now shared those camera systems with the Plainfield Police Department. So they're going to PC set up just for it. They're going to have multiple monitors. So by the end of the day, we're going to end up with about 80 cameras around town, which will help the police and help for safety.
You get feedback or pushback from residents with all the numerous cameras they call?
Not really. The issue is more of I'd like to be able to look. I want to be able to see what happens. If something wrong happens, prosecute. We had some kids the very first year that we had the cameras at the town hall. Some kids went over and tagged, painted onto our gazebo over there, and they walked right into the camera lens and said, "Oh, no." So we prosecuted. We'll do that for anything. We had another gentleman who was trying to sell fentanyl over there, and so it was on camera. And, prosecution. So I think it is something that is, you put something up, nowadays you don't know if it's going to be safe or not. And I think this is the way to ensure that you're never going to stop them, but you can certainly prosecute.
Yeah, the other thing is too, I've heard it in town here, and I'm sure you probably have too, Paul, about people saying, "Well, I didn't authorize these cameras."
I know.
This is against our privacy. No, it's not. It's your downtown.
No matter where you go, there's a camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my theory has always been the same thing as like social media. Social media. If they're gonna get you, they're gonna get got.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So social media, or if you have cameras up and down, if you're not doing anything wrong, what the hell are you worried about?
Exactly.
For residents, okay, so I mentioned already, we talked about the lines, adding more cameras there.
Yep.
We're talking about the pavilion, the cameras there. Open space on County, 162 acres, walking trail, a bicycle trail, horse trail.
That's been in the works for a bit.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it will be continuing because we have more work to do in the state of Connecticut on the grants. We applied for a grant.
So what's the completion date on that? Is it going to be ETA?
We're probably looking at least 2 years.
Okay.
'Cause you
So
have
most
to-
of these things are down the road.
Well,
Yours aren't?
that one's down the road. Right now, you can talk about going, if you drive into the Moose Rotary Park, you can see what's being done.
Sure.
Everything's up except the fixing of the sidewalk. We're going to do the paving of the road, make it wider. And that's another person, Ernie Clello, who's going to be helping us with that. We have to just buy the material. So do it with box spreader and take care of it. It's things are still happening. I mean, the Motor Rotary Park, we got fireworks on August 10th, right before the BJ parade.
It's still America's only VG.
Those more.
Was there one in Ohio?
Yeah, I did research last year on it, and there's one more. They don't do the full parade, so to speak, but they do events surrounding it.
Got it.
We had applied, like every other town around us, and applied for a 5310 grant, which is through the state and federal government for a 11 passenger vehicle for support for ADA compliance. These has a handicap ramp and everything, or lift. And we all waited for years. It's been almost 3 now. We're finally getting them. So they're coming into the state of Connecticut. I think 15 towns have them. Another 48 are waiting, and we're waiting as well. So we also purchased a new SUV without any taxpayer dollars because there was a grant available for it. So a brand new SUV for other transports. Other than that,
Paul, look at his face. Look at his face right now.
it's so cute.
The adorable Paul, say what's on your mind.
Well,
You want the liver onions?
I'm looking at all this stuff that you guys are doing, but with the grants, I mean, they just had to pretty much go through loops and hoops to get a grant writer approval for the town of Griswold, for Christ's sakes.
Oh, please get one.
I mean, I think they finally got it in the budget for a small amount of money, but your grant writer,
Okay, so what's a small amount of money?
$5,000.
Oh God,
Yeah, it's not.
no. We pay this person who's now in a union, low 70s, and for anybody who says, "Oh, I know there's some people that used to say no, now they see the value to it."
Yeah.
Between the two grant writers I had Jordan, now I got Shannon. You're pulling well into the almost $4 million worth of revenue coming in from that you can do so much with that the taxpayers now don't have to worry about paying for. That is why I wanted to do that. Using the cell tower money and the other buildings money that was there to put it into the Lions Park, so I don't have to go after any grants for the matching monies.
Yep.
I want to keep it as minimal as possible for taxpayer investment. It shouldn't have to be that way. If the grant writer does the right job and gets the right stuff, you can get all these things for minimal.
Yeah, and you mentioned this SUV. In the budget, they just added, what, $45,000 or $50,000 for a new SUV
It was 35.
for the fire department,
Oh,
right? Right? We've got $45,000 that we have to pay. This guy's getting an SUV for free through a grant. Why are we going after a free SUV?
I mean, a lot of them are competitive. I don't mind sharing the information,
Oh, I know, yeah.
but the idea is for a town to not consider this as an option, you're just, what's that phrase? Well, anyways, you're just not thinking it through, pound wise, penny foolish.
I mean, it was hard enough to get them to put $5,000 in for a grant writer.
At the public hearing.
That's the only way it got in. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it had anything to do with me, but I gave my whole thing about one thing, and then I said, "And get a grant writer, please." And now they put in. I don't think it has. I think they're probably thinking about it anyway. But $5,000 is not going to get anybody.
Nothing. It won't do anything.
No.
I don't know what.
Anyways, this person works full time. They also do economic development.
Not going to poo Griswold, but I'm just saying you can't go into this stuff half-assed. You've got to. If you're going to do it, just do it.
Right. Yep. I mean, when you just talked about that SUV for free, I mean that.
For Christ's sakes, if you're not going to get the damn Chromebooks, get a freaking grant writer that will get you the Chromebooks for nothing by getting a grant.
And we use the grant writer for the police department for applying for the safety vests, for different equipment they might need. There's all sorts of use for a grant writer because they can go in different departments and be able to help them out.
And that's not a hit on the Board of Education because they're trying to get those things. Yeah. Sorry guys from the Board of Finance, not sorry, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunately that some things they just make decisions with blinders on.
I think they're so tentative this year. And probably the next 3 years, they're going to be very tentative because of the revals for one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we now have the payment on the field.
Yeah.
But nobody's looking at. I mean, this is not Plainfield, but I mean, they're not looking at all the money they're supposed to bring in.
I agree.
I mean,
and do you have a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan?
I don't know.
I'll explain what each are. You have a 5-year capital plan with your town and your Board of Education.
I think they do.
Okay.
I think there is a capital plan.
Yep. And it's kind of a wish list, but it isn't. I'll explain what it is. In my opinion, the 5-year capital talks about, hey, look, I got to fix up these types of buildings and what has to be done indoors here.
Yeah,
windows there. Okay, so that's part of the 5-year. The other part of the 5-year is if you're looking to apply for a grant, you should have in there looking to replace the roof on a school. And therefore, I should put that in my 5-year capital because it's capital an item. And if you can, then use that to say I'm applying for a grant. Because if you don't have it planned, then it's not going to be accepted as a grant for most of these grant opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's a 5-year plan. 10-year plan is you should be looking at all of your buildings, every single one of them, to say, is this going to be around for all that time? Or we start looking for an alternate way. I'll give you an idea. Our police station. It has to start looking now at what you're going to do in 10 years because, I think it was built in, 88?
Yeah.
Something in the 80s. And it was built by support of the Ellis Tech Masonry Group. Okay, but I think it's time that we have to start looking at, moving on to something a little better. And if that's the case, it's part of your 10-year plan. What do you got to do for all these things within 10 years? Every building has to be looked at, I would say, by some professionals coming in looking at your electric, your water, sewer questions, building inspections itself, and look at them all and say, okay, we evaluated them all for a 10-year cycle, not a 5. Because if you're really looking at it like that, if you don't take care of that building, you better prepare for a big bill later on.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think that's what they're looking at with the June City Fire Department, right? Because I think it was built with the older trucks in mind, and you start buying newer trucks.
Yep.
There are different sizes. They're probably way more. It's up on the second floor. There's a floor underneath it. Those are the kinds of things I think they're looking at. But
yeah. So that's what I'm looking at is trying to figure out how to be proactive for the future. Look, we're in a town hall right now, which was built in 1920, and side note, yes, we have to have a celebration of that. I'm trying to do that, but I'm just going to get through a few things first. We have been retrofitting and doing things that years ago they thought they never could do. We have HVAC in the auditorium now. So there's no more going in the wintertime and freezing or in the summertime and sweating yourself out. This is taken care of. And that promotes the longevity of the building. All the offices now have HVAC. We redid a staircase. Ernie, thank you very much. It helped us with that staircase.
Boy, Clello's everywhere.
Yeah. And then you got, we're going after a grant. I should mention that we're going after a historic preservation grant for the town hall for something else. We thought that the ramp is not ADA compliant. It is not. So we have to redo that ramp. So it'll be what they call a switchback, and that'll be put in. We said we had an engineer go over and look at it. And while he was looking at it, he was also looking at the basement because we said there's a concern in the basement. The steel girders years ago were built in such a way that same thing would happen with the annex. Water got into the building because of the freezing and thawing. It got in onto those girders and is starting to deteriorate. The cement is pulled off, exposes the rebar, the beams, and those are starting to eat away. So we're in a process right now of going up to putting specs together for a bid to fill in the town. It's called a shooting range.
Yep.
To fill it in because it's just not safe. So once we do that, we can do the ramp going up. We're going to do the windows because they need to be updated on the main floor. So those will be redone, and it'll cover everything under the historic grant. So that's another one. Maybe a bigger news item for you would be.
Okay, hold on to that.
Okay.
The big news item, or the bigger news item. We're going to take another quick break and we'll
Okay.
finish up with Plainfield First Selectman Kevin Cunningham. And like I said earlier, if you are in the chat group right now and you're asking a question, you're wondering why is nobody acknowledging me? And that is because the show has been pre-recorded. That doesn't mean don't leave a question, doesn't mean don't leave a comment, because I'm sure Mr. Cunningham will go through this program again and take a look to make sure that he answers all the questions. You can actually, Kevin, go back into the program.
Oh, yeah.
When it posts, you can post answers, as people ask.
Making a comment to apologize to my wife about her cooking. Is that it?
No, I think she's an amazing cook.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's amazing.
So you did a teaser for the next segment
Of
ECC.
Oh, okay. We'll get back to that in a minute. So keep it right here on SNSN.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they gonna know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.sim.
Dentist. In a word, yes. Especially if that dentist is Dr. Katzoff and the staff at Griswold Dental Associates. They follow all the latest safety protocols while doing what they do best, taking care of you. From preventive to restorative, your dental care couldn't be in better hands. To schedule your appointment, call Griswold Dental Associates today, 860-376-2626. That's 860-376-2626.
And welcome back to SNSN. We have Kevin Cunningham with us, first selectman in the town of Plainfield. And again, Kevin, thank you for joining us. And,
Love coming in on these Fridays.
Somewhat. Anyway, you said you had something that was a little bit larger to talk about.
Yep.
Paul, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Before we move on to that, what is the success rate of your grant writing, and how many you put in and how many you get out? I mean, is it like,
I think we've missed a couple.
that's it? So it's pretty successful.
Yeah. When you have good grant writers, Shannon, and before that was Jordan, they do an awesome job of putting the applications in. We get rejected here and there, but we apply immediately.
Yeah.
So we usually when you get a rejection on something, they tell you here's what you missed out on for the most part. So we work very hard to try to reapply and go after it. And I'll give you an example, a quick one. Moosa Pond is something which has a milfoil issue, and so it has an invasive weed that keeps growing back. And we're working with the Moosa Pond Association in the town to come up with ways to get money for the cost of the materials being put in there and management and maintenance of it.
Of the weeds?
Yep.
Oh. So what happened with the pond weed committee here in town? $100,000 for a machine.
Oh.
And they raised money. They did everything.
Did they get the machine?
Eventually, yeah. But it's $100,000.
So what do you do with the machine now?
Well,
See, the problem with milfoil, and it's a little issue, but when you tear it up like that, it
I mean, it could be totally different.
it's just going to regrow. And so this is a better way, in my opinion, of killing off the root system and moving on from there. So in the past, we've gone for applications and gotten for grants, and we didn't get it this time. It was very competitive. There's a lot of towns not getting on board with going after the grants, but we'll reapply again and work on what ifs, and basically what ifs would be, can we think of a plan of the town having a little bit of tax money available if we don't get the grant?
Gotcha.
So, we have to plan like that. There's also things you have to do like that. I have to plan for the next household hazardous waste day. It won't be in this year's budget, but it'll be in next year's, and we have to start planning those out.
Yep.
NECOG is looking to get a permanent facility for household waste, hazard waste.
Wow.
So that's something we're working on. Hope that happens because it would make it easier for the towns. We can keep on chipping in.
Let me just ask one other question about the grant. I don't know if this is possible. There was some talk that when you get a grant writer, that you could hire them. So if they got $100,000 grant, that they were paid a percentage rather than a rate. Is that legal or not? I mean, you
It depends on the grant.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, obviously, it depends upon the grant. Getting calls right now? No, thank you.
Can't be because of this live show we're doing.
No. So some of the grants are administrative costs. That's what that is.
Okay.
So whoever gets the grant say, okay, I'm going to administer the grant, and therefore I get a percentage.
Okay.
Each one has its own variation of percentages. We obviously don't do the administrative part of it.
Right.
Because we're paying someone via salary benefits.
Right.
So yeah, there are those there. So do you find somebody for $5,000 to be able to do that, and then therefore they get their money from the administrative cost? Yep, that's possible.
Gotcha.
But for our grant writer, we're asking almost daily, hey, can we do this? Can we do that?
It's a permanent job for that person to do it constantly.
Yeah, and they're not all. Yeah, and they're not all going to be something you can get administrative costs from.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, what was the teaser? ECC building. So for the past 2 years, I've been working with the superintendent, the chair and vice chair of the Board of Education, and their finance director, and our town's chair of the Board of Finance, myself, and our finance director for the town. And for 2 years, we've been talking about things we can do together to promote. And one of the basic topics was, you've had some decrease in enrollment over 13 years. I'm not saying a little bit, I'm talking a massive amount over 13 years. So, you're looking at capacity of 55, 56% of the school. You've got to be able to think ahead of, like I was mentioning before, you can't keep on leaving these buildings open without trying to get cat and meat and saving money for the taxpayer. And at the same time, look at, well, now I can put that saved money into better programs for the students. So that's what the discussion was. They did a feasibility study, an independent study came through, decided through the study, results came back saying we need to close a school, maybe even 2. So at this point, the Board of Education voted to approve to close the ECC building on Route 12. The students will go to Shepherd Hill. They're looking at a place to go for the administrative staff. And they'll be moving, I think they'll be looking to move over to Memorial at this point. So there's talk of what's next after that, and that's still to be discussed. But I think that people should understand they're trying to do the best they can with saving money, and they'll save, I would guess, probably close to $400,000 by moving. And for this year, you're a couple of staff that won't be there anymore. Obviously, the cost of maintenance and electricity, insurance, all those things factor into that.
Yeah.
But that's what they're looking to do.
Most of the time when you close schools like that, most of the parents are concerned about the time frame that it's going to take for the kid to get to school.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes 20 minutes or 15 minutes now, does the kid got to get up an hour early to go to school somewhere now? But you guys are not that big.
No.
There's not like a Hartford,
Right.
So,
you're going for maybe 10 to 20 minutes on a school bus ride. It's still reasonable.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to, put the information out to the public ahead of time and let them know that there are changes coming.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that always should be about results, making sure the students get a good education, that they graduate, and that you're doing it for a reasonable cost to the taxpayers.
Right.
Because not everybody has a kid anymore. You get
No.
the grandkids that are now in school, and you're still trying to support.
Right.
And that's just the way taxes work. You're still paying for the next generation to go through.
Gotcha.
Yep. So those are the things I had. I mean, there's all sorts of other things. We got a recreation theft grant, which organizes our town recreation properties and plans for the upcoming upgrade.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. We are working to help each other in the town hall to help administer grants.
Right.
And then of course we do have some other things going on. We have a retirement coming up, and I know he's going to kill me when I say it, but Kyle Collins is he does dual roles. He does IT support on site. He also does building inspection, and he has decided that this is the last he's going to be in. So he's got another 7 weeks, and
Okay.
so then we'll have an ice cream party because that's what he wants.
Oh.
He really doesn't want a party; he just wants to say thank you. And, yep.
Can we do ice cream?
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
come. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to run? Because our hour was just about up.
Oh, I thought it was 3. We're not doing
Not in a row.
Oh. I think those are the big things. We really want to make sure that we promote the town through its constituents, making sure they understand where we're coming from on items, and that means that anything you have a question on, please give a call. It doesn't hurt to call and say, you know what, I didn't know about this. What's going on with it? And I'll answer any question. That's not a problem.
Sure. Will you come back after the referendum?
Sure.
All right, Kevin Cunningham, thank you very much for Selectman in the town of Plainfield.
All right, thank you for having me.
Next time I'll have donuts. I promise.
Yeah, right. And my parking spot's ready.
And your parking spot.
Okay.
As long as you-
Mariachi band.
Yeah, as long as you bring some Fluminense cookies.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Sweeter is great.
It is great. All right, thank you very much, everybody. We will see you Monday. Again, this was pre-recorded. Leave your comments, leave your questions. They will be taken care of. So don't worry about not being, acknowledged today like we normally do, because it's been pre-recorded.